The Vechain price is up 11% on the week, but it is trying to get ready to break out and put in an absolute face melter rally. But are we due for a little bit more of a pullback first, or are we going directly into the parabolic phase of this bull market for Vechain? We're going to talk about this, about the chart, about things that I see in the chart, but also about news for Vechain, things that are happening and being developed on Vechain at the moment. And we're going to talk about price targets and price predictions, obviously. Before we jump in with the content, a quick shout out to all of my rare hodlers, my channel members, everyone that is supporting me in this smaller paid way. You see all of the names here. Thank you so much for supporting also these little video updates. And with that out of the way, let's jump right in. So as you can see here, we have the Vechain chart open already, and I have drawn in a couple of lines that we are going to discuss after we talked a little bit about the market and news. I think to understand where Vechain is going next, we need to understand what is happening in the market. And for that reason, I quickly want to present to you the Google Trends analytic. And the blue line is Bitcoin and the red line is Ethereum. Why is the red line not Vechain? Because if you look for Vechain, you get almost no search volume, because all of the search volumes that are scattered out to all altcoins. So if you look for Avalanche, for Vechain, even for Solana, you don't get really numbers that you can compare. But here we have Bitcoin versus Ethereum, and Ethereum stands as an example for an altcoin and for the price action to expect, or better, the attention that a specific coin gets. And here we see in the previous bear markets, we had levels of 11 for Bitcoin and 1 for Ethereum before we went into the parabolic phase. And in this bear market, we had levels of 15 in search volume for Bitcoin and 2 in Ethereum. So real bear market levels. But now you can see that around the time of the ETF, here right under my video, or right under my face, so to say, we had a level for Bitcoin of 43 and only 5 for Ethereum. So not really a reaction on Ethereum, but lots of reaction already for Bitcoin. But since the ETF approval went through and Bitcoin had a nice pullback from 49,000 to 39,000, the levels have dropped up downwards into basically bear market territory again for the attention span. That means that retail has only taken note of something happening for Bitcoin, but retail is not there yet. Retail is not in the market yet, nor in Ethereum, and even not in Bitcoin. All of the price action that we're seeing right now is pre-halving and completely without retail. That is a very important thing to note when we are comparing prices, because basically the prices that we have right now are with bear market level of attention. That is very, very important to note. Also, we can see that in these levels that Bitcoin pumps first and then the attention moves to the altcoins, which is also the reason why Bitcoin topped out somewhere here in February to March to April, depending on which week you want to take. And then after that, all the altcoins started pumping together, first with Ethereum and then also other altcoins with Vechain. We see it here. Vechain only topped out in April, whereas Bitcoin did top out a little bit earlier. This is the monthly chart. Basically started forming the top somewhere between February and March. So Vechain did top out roughly a month later. That is important to know for the timing. We are now about to enter the parabolic phase for Bitcoin, which we also can see on the indicators. I talk a lot about this in my live streams. Here we see the TSI, for example, forming a bullish cross, and from the bullish cross, every time in history we started this parabolic run up. So we can expect to have the altcoins follow in the means of 1 week to 4 weeks after Bitcoin starts a move. And we already saw it. Vechain is already up, double from its bear market low, which was at around a little bit less than 1.5 cents, and now we're sitting at 3 cents. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the news here for Vechain. And the first thing is something that was asked in the AMS to Sunny Lu, and they have dropped this already a couple of days old. Vechain says we have some great news for developers the Vechain DA Kit just dropped. The DA Kit offers a state-of-the-art front-end library for simplifying the development of decentralized applications on the Vechain Thor blockchain. And here you can, in this article, you can read more. But basically, they delivered on this DA Kit, and building dApps in an easy manner and basically easily comprehensible manner and facilitate that for developers was a huge request, and they delivered on it. So that is really good that they have this delivery. The second piece that I want to show you is an interview piece of 1 minute from Vechain's Sunny Lu, from where Vechain started out and where it went with regards also to Louis Vuitton. So for that reason, we are going to watch this together for 1 minute.
Louis Vuitton, I built up the Vechain. So the first client, the first business user I engage is for sure using my personal connections, right? So I know the CEO of Givenchy globally, and at that time he was my direct boss when I was working Louis Vuitton, and also he's my mentor now. So I knocked the door and tried to spend some time with him, try to tell him what blockchain is, how blockchain can do. And after 20 minutes, he's like, no, stop. I don't understand anything you said. Okay, but just tell me what can I help you. So we start from there, and we dedicate a few months in Paris working with the team to build up the supply chain management system just for a first pilot, a POC case for one line of products, okay? And after that, they like it. And they see the benefits. They see like how they can connect that kind of the track and trace for not only within the company network, but extend to the third-party manufacturer, to the retailer, even to the consumer side, right? So by the end of the 2019, actually, we already cover 100% of line of leather goods for all of the products coming from Givenchy globally.
Okay, so the interesting part here is really to see this quick rundown on the story of Sunny Lu and how he convinced basically the CEO there of Louis Vuitton, and how they went to 100% line coverage of Givenchy. Now, this all ties into one thing. If we're going to, I think it's on Eisenreich's storyline, Vechain is, here it is. If you look at this is a very old thing where Vechain should be. So Vechain has already undergone a crypto altcoin bull market, right? And we see here the years. There was the exploration and proof of concept phase where no one of us was in Vechain basically. Then 27 to 18 assessment of economical potential of the blockchain. So this is all analytic phase. 2019 to 2021, which was in the pandemic times, the regulatory development. And then basically from 2022 to 2025, which is only in 1 year, they wanted to go in the growth phase. And that is where they are. They have been a little bit delayed in this because of the pandemic and because of everything, as Sunny Lu said, is built on personal relationships also, right, to convince these people. So in the pandemic, they couldn't do as many meetings in person. But we see that this growth phase is really happening right now. We see developments on top of Vechain. We see more and more companies, like in the previous videos we covered nutrition or food and beverage industry launching on Vechain. We are going to look at examples in this video again, and we can see that Walmart and other companies, DNV solutions, are sitting on top of Vechain, and there is more and more adoption in this growth phase, right? And only from 2025 and beyond, which is only in 1 year or even more than 1 year, depending on how you interpret 2025, is the maturity phase where Vechain is really a fully grown product, and there's more and more adoption on top of that. And maturity doesn't mean that Vechain will not grow anymore, but means that it's basically ready with all of the solutions. And we see that these developer kits that are coming out right now, this is all adapting to demand from the industry to be able to build on top of the Vechain. And I mentioned in the last video that one of the crucial factors for Vechain, for example, is that there are no outages. And that is very important, right? If you are building for companies or solutions, that you don't have outages. One solution that is built on Vechain that I'm personally very excited to see is DigiCardKey services. The DigiCardKey platform leverages Vechain officials' toolchain, blockchain as a service, for unparalleled anti-counterfeiting assurance and transparency. Demand DigiKey, powered by Vechain. Here we see it. Here, for example, we have for the people that are watching my content regularly, everything is about these comics when we're talking about Vivi and about Ecomi. And here we see a 5.0 CGC graded, basically graded X-Men comic, Uncanny X-Men. And we see that this CGC slab has this DigiKey or DigiKey on the back side for verification, proof of ownership, proof of authenticity. And I think that is something really cool. We can take a little bit more of a look. And here we see, for example, that they are addressing concerns like, for example, this one from Tiffany Cards. Hey, eBay, we have a problem. Your authenticator PSA card is encasing counterfeit cards, which are sold as authentic cards on your platform, then being passed through eBay authentication by PSA. How do you not see a conflict of interest and so on? And they are addressing this. The DigiCard Key platform offers tagging partners a way to protect consumers from incorrectly identified cards, plus a way to alert owners and potential buyers of the proper information. Red flags and updates within the provenance give people assurance as to the history and so on. So take a look yourself, but this is basically all of these that have the seal, this DigiKey, they are verified on Vechain. So this is another real life use case, a real life demand, a real life problem that has been solved or that is being solved on Vechain. I think that is very interesting, and for me, that's a follow here on DigiCardKey. Now, here's the thing that I'm most bullish on for this week's Vechain video update, and that is what Jürgen Schoppe put out. But before we talk about it, please make sure to smash up the like button if you enjoyed these Vechain weekly video updates or very frequent video updates. And if you want to have more of them, let me know by smashing up the like button, and also let me know in the comments below what you think about these advancements on Vechain. So here he says, thrilled to announce our upcoming analysis of constructing a lightning fast and secure layer 2 sidechain on top of the robust L1 chain of Vechain. So they're going to create a layer 2 solution on Vechain. We know that layer 2 solutions have already caused a lot of traffic on other chains. I mean, mainly on Ethereum, but also on Solana and other chains. Layer 2 scaling solutions are something that is bullish for a layer 1 chain, acting as a gateway to secure decentralized storage for the masses and beyond. So they want to create a decentralized storage solution on Vechain. As a CTO, this realization is a dream turned into reality. Stay tuned for more updates. Okay, so we're definitely going to stay tuned to this, and we're going to see how this brings value to Vechain. I think that this is probably the most bullish news of all of them. And then something that we did not cover in the latest video, but we see here, also in the carbon footprint sector, Vechain is making advancements. So we see Vechain collaborates with XCMG Group to develop a system for managing construction machinery lifecycle carbon footprint. So Vechain blockchain technology is taking a significant step towards transforming carbon footprint management within the construction machinery industry in collaboration with XCMG Group Jiangsu Construction Machinery Research Institute Limited. And so this is once again an advancement in China, and you can read the article for yourself, but it beats once again into that niche or into that trend of reducing carbon emissions, looking at the more green future, so riding the mega trend of the decade, I would say, of this decade, right? 2020 to 2030, something like that, and maybe beyond. So I think overall this is very bullish. Now let's get back to the chart, because we have to talk about some things that are baked in the chart that are not only coming from these developments, but obviously driven by the developments. We have to see one thing, even though if you're saying, oh yeah, patient hodler, but they had development all the time and nothing happened. It's about the narrative, and people's attention will focus on the projects that have advancements. And Vechain has a lot of the advancements. We talked about the implementation of the account abstraction standard, which is going to be a huge narrative. We have talked about the integration into ledger systems. We talk about exchange listings like Coinbase, but maybe also Robinhood. There are people that are talking about Robinhood. We're talking about the various partnerships like BCG in terms of ESG standards and so on. We're talking about big companies launching their solutions on Vechain. We're talking about smaller use cases like DigiCard, but left and right, Vechain is having news. And last time, in the last bull market, it was not different. Vechain had a lot of positive news. Vechain did what Vechain did and pumped with liquidity. I think it will be the same here. Now, from the last time, we see here we have this pullback, broke through a range and then went on a parabolic run. I think that this trend line here is one to observe, where we just hit our head. Right now, we're working on breaking this trend line. We are very close to this trend line. Overall, if you draw in these lines and you say, okay, we had a test here, we have confluence on these levels, and then back down here, 2 touches, 3 touches, come back and hit our head, that is a lot of confluence to actually say, okay, we see a pattern here. I see definitely a pattern here that is something like a falling channel. Falling channels have a very high tendency to break to the upside. Could we see a sell-off here once again and stay within this channel? Yes, if the broader market sells off. If we would have something like a bearish cross in this TSI on the weekly, I would see a bigger sell-off. Why? Because we also had this here. We had it a little bit higher, hit our head at this resistance, and then we had a sell-off big time. I mean, it looks small, but it's very big. But then again, it was 57%, right? So that would bring us almost back into bear market territory. 50-something% would bring us to, somewhere retesting the lows of the bear market. I don't think this will happen this time, because here, at this point, there was the entire C crisis involved in this. And I really don't see such a big crash. But on the other hand, we have to see that central banks, in order to cut rates, usually something bad has to happen in the economy, and we cannot exclude that this is not something that happens maybe before or into the halving and gives us another pullback on the entire market. So be ready for that and have some dry powder ready in case that happens. But it could also happen that we just move sideways for a couple more weeks and then just blast through and start into a parabolic run. However, if we copy the previous price action and say we're just going to repeat something like that, we would basically have another sell-off. Maybe it's not that hard, maybe it's not 50%, but there's still the chance to have this sell-off, and still we would blow through all-time highs, and still we would go to something like a target of 50 cents. So if we mark that for ourselves, bullish Moonboy target, I will mark it here, and so we can a little bit monitor what we predicted here on this channel. So this would be the bullish Moonboy target, and then there will be at all-time highs or at close to all-time highs a take profit target for me, and then there is another target, let's say at about 10 cents, where I would say, okay, I take my initial investment out, right? So something like this would be my action plan. Okay, so let me know in the comments below if you agree, if this is realistic to you or not. This is something that I see. There are a couple of people that put the following measurements out. They basically take this as a flagpole, even though this is the logarithmic chart. Usually it doesn't work like this, but what they do is basically they say, okay, we break that and voila, we are coming somewhere out in the same range, right? There are also people that draw it in a little bit differently. They draw the flagpole to the flag. It's even bigger, and basically they reach at $2 targets and so on. But just from a market cap perspective, I am staying conservative here, and I'm just saying that basically if we would have a price action like this, let's put it right here on the top. So yeah, close to 50 cents, which would also make a lot of sense, like psychological mark, 48 cents, all the people are selling off and it never reaches the 50 cent. It could happen. Let me know if you agree, if you disagree. Drop everything below, and wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. I see you in the next Vechain video update. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.